comments on that from the mayor from now Samwu, Deputy Secretary General Dumisane Magagula. Magagula, good evening. Good to have you.
Good evening, Thabo, and good evening to your viewers.
So the 1.1 billion, apparently it's theory, it's only in the books. But when you look at the cash flow situation, it's not the basis to which you can argue that the city has got the 600 million that's required to pay the increases.
Yeah, we are about to make a mistake, Thabo, that numbers are lying, and it can't be. This case went to the exemption hearing. In the exemption hearing, there was a fair process where the city was able to disclose their financials. Their financial experts told us what the city has budgeted and what the city is able to afford. The assessment thereof by the Commissioner of the Bargaining Council, and given our arguments together with the other trade union, comes out with an outcome that says the city can afford to pay salaries in terms of the collective agreement that was agreed on in 2021. And the basis for that is that in 2022, they budgeted 12 billion. They then had a surplus of 1.1 billion towards workers' salaries. And if indeed there was zero budgeting for increase, the city would not have budgeted a salary costing of 12 billion. They still budgeted 12 billion without any other changes to the workforce and the cost of the salary. Then that simply implies that the city is able to pay salaries for 2023, the 5.4 increase.
Could it be that they could have taken the 1.1 billion to address their cash flow concerns instead of it reflecting, yes, on the books as a surplus, but in actual fact, it's being used by the city to address some of the shortfalls as far as their cash flow situation is concerned?
But that is not their argument. Their argument is whatever we have budgeted does not include salary increment. Therefore, there is no other money that they are taking from salaries to take care of any other cost item in the municipality. Whatever is budgeted for salaries is for salaries. We had the same argument on equitable share, and they say whatever we receive on equitable share goes to what it was budgeted for. And their budget speaks to a possibility of paying salaries, including the increment amount, which does not even get to 1.1 billion. It's the city that told us that the impact of the 5.4 increase is going to be 600 million. It's half of what would be surplus at the end of this financial year. Yeah. So the city can afford salary increments.
So it says we are making a mistake by saying, making a decision based on a 6% projection of collection and expenditure to say, well, the city will be doing better. Besides, it's not in this financial year. But if the city keeps on to its recovery measures, yes, it will be maybe in a better position.
Let's tell you what, there is something very political about what the city calls recovery measures. Before this council was introduced and before the executive mayor was inaugurated, he already made an announcement that there will be no salary increment. Secondly, we know that the DA says they need to reduce the salary bill and at any cost, including reducing the number of employees. They then went to council and passed a resolution not to pay the salary increment. That resolution does not change the budget of the municipality. The budget was still the same. It was still the budget that allows for salary increment. Yeah. So there is nothing about projections and about cost saving and so on. It's just a political stance that the municipality has taken, and we have gone to a process which is an administrative process. We argued and we showed the commissioner, and the commissioner believes that indeed the city can afford to pay the salary increment. They have gone to court and said we have, they've gone on contempt of court and said we are continuing with a strike, and court said 2 times there is no strike in Tshwane. There is no contempt. It's things that they are doing because politically they just want to make sure that they pressurize the union.
Yeah.
The honorable thing to do for the city is to pay the increment that is due to workers. The honorable thing for the city to do is to make sure that service delivery reaches the citizens of Tshwane, and which service delivery citizens deserve. And we believe that with a workforce that is in place, a workforce that is receiving what they should be receiving, service delivery will be of a quality that goes to the residents.
Well, they're not going to comply. I mean, you've heard yourself. They are clearly not going to comply. They're going to take this outcome on review. Is that a perfect recipe for a strike?
No, we are not going on strike on this matter in that manner. If we are to go to a strike, there is a process that will follow into going into a strike. Currently, what we are doing is to fight this thing legally. And we believe that if they go on that trajectory, it means that the legal process is continuing. But on the other hand, we will be consulting our members. Our members will tell us exactly what action to now take, given the stance that the city is continuing to project to the public and how the city is continuing to treat the employees and the members of Samwu.
I believe you got the city to present the financial situation of the city. Are you saying to us the financials did not support their view that the city is in distress and cannot afford the increases?
Exactly, Thabo. That's exactly what happened at the bargaining council. They went in, said we cannot afford. They had a fair chance to present their financials. We also had our financial experts look into what they're raising and study their financials for the last 2-3 years. And we had an independent financial expert from the bargaining council, including a commissioner, who looked at the arguments and came out with this outcome that says what the city is claiming is not supported. So their application for exemption was therefore dismissed, meaning that according to the commissioner, what they're raising is not supported by what they presented on the table, and it means that the city will be able to afford the salary increment.
So by the independent player, you're talking Imatu here, that would have looked at this situation. What did they find?
The independent player is the bargaining council commissioner and a financial expert from the bargaining council.
Oh, I see. Because also Imatu has also found out about this issue of the surplus.
Yes, Imatu would then be standing side by side with us as part of labor.
All right. Let's talk then about what the city is saying. Saying, well, I mean, if you're saying we are so cash strong in terms of the surplus, why would we be instituting 30% cuts on all departments?
Look, I wouldn't want to talk for the city and the reason why they're doing what they are doing. Our case is simple. We are saying the city needs to make sure that service delivery reaches the citizens of Tshwane, and we have made a call that the city should stop privatization because that's where they are wasting money. So all these 30% cuts are done while the city is taking a lot of money to private companies that are not contributing anything towards service delivery. So whatever they're cutting, they are spending on privatization, on their preferred companies. We have talked about companies that have taken billions from the city that are not delivering any service towards the citizens of Tshwane. So if there are cuts are meant to fuel the privatization and the outsourcing that is ongoing.
Yeah.
So our call is not a call only for the salary increment, but it's a call to stop privatization, to privatize the citizens that are within this metropolitan, and to improve service delivery.
So they are saying the extensive cost-cutting exercise by reducing budgets by 30% across departments is in itself an indication that the city is in an exceptionally fragile state financially.
We will only believe that when they stop privatization, that indeed the city is doing something towards improving their financials. Currently, they are comfortable with their financials. They are doing those cuts to fuel privatization and to make sure that their preferred service providers chow the money of the city. And we will continue to make this noise until they stop outsourcing and have monies go into direct service delivery by municipal workers to reach the citizens within the municipality.
123 of your members have been axed for exactly this thing that went to the bargaining council, and the bargaining council says implement the increases. Does that strengthen your case to have those members reinstated?
Yes, of course, it does, because whatever members were raising is now justified. But we also fighting this thing because, according to us, there was no strike in Tshwane, and the city just pinpointed a few people that they wanted to victimize. Workers in Tshwane went on a march, which was approved. The workers then waited for their matter to be addressed. While we were in negotiation with the city on modalities of implementing the salary increment, they pulled out and started the processes of victimizing our members. They punished them on no work, no pay, and they also dismissed our members, which we are defending.
Yeah.
And we will fight until these members are reinstated into their jobs, and their families should not be suffering for mistakes that were made by the city and for the political stance that has been adopted by the political party that is leading that municipality.
So we put it to the mayor to say, what happens when you go to the labor court and you still fail to convince the labor court that your argument is sound and it supports your view that you cannot afford the increases? Will you take a loan to fund the increases? Here's what the mayor had to say.
Well, I don't know who is going to borrow money to us to pay salaries. I mean, financiers borrow money to institutions to build power plants or to fix sewage works or to lay roadway. But they don't borrow money to a municipality to pay salary increases. And that's the bind that we're in. Also, if we are to be pushed into a corner where we have to pay, it will mean service delivery will have to be cut. Something's got to give. And that is the situation that we don't want to be in. And what we do want to remind folks over and over is the municipality doesn't have its own money. We deal with the people's money.
So the mayor is saying even if they fail at the labor court, if they don't have money, they are not going to borrow money to pay salaries. Or otherwise, service delivery would have to be cut. So either way, they are saying the city would need to raise that money through a recovery process of some sort and be in a financially sound situation before they can even begin to come and have a conversation around salary increases.
I think what's realistic from what the executive mayor is saying is a good prediction that they are going to lose the case at the labor court because they cannot change the numbers. They will not have other sets of financials which will prove what they are raising. So after the city loses the case at the labor court, the city must pay salaries of workers. In fact, our view is they should not even waste time going to Labour Court on this issue. They just need to abide by the award that has been given, which has said your case is dismissed, go and pay the salaries of workers. There will be no other different financials. They do have the money. There is no need to go and borrow any money anywhere. They have the money. That is what is before council, and it has been confirmed, and they should pay the money that they have to the workers.
Bus services are slowly getting back. At least we heard from the mayor's X message earlier on this morning, and standing next to Mr. Metal, saying that it seems that the strike in Tshwane, which you're saying has not been there, is slowly dying down. Will this outcome change that improvement of things getting back slowly?
No, things will continue to improve, but we must mention this fact. Members of Samwu are happy that they are being given access to do their work, which was denied by the municipality for a number of weeks. We've been to the depots. We found municipal workers sitting, playing chess, and waiting for management to give them access to drive and to give service to the people that have paid, some of them already, for the service. So we are happy that they are giving more and more access so that workers carry out the duties which they were employed to carry out. By the way, municipal workers in the first instance are citizens. They are members of the community themselves. They also rely on the services from the municipality. So with that change of attitude, we believe that we are doing what we should be doing as municipal workers.
Magagula, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. That is the Deputy Secretary General of Samwu.